My name is Armando Berry with WYMT, and welcome to the Tim Couch statue dedication at Leslie County High School. For all our audience watching on WYMT, we are broadcasting live from Hayden, Kentucky, and we're just getting underway as we start with Joel Brashear.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hayden, Kentucky. As he said, my name is Joel Brashear. It is an absolute privilege for me to be talking to you today on this wonderful event, just like it was a privilege to play football with Tim all those years ago. Now, to say that I played football with Tim is about like the fly that rode on the saddle of Secretariat. I had nothing to do with the success, but I enjoyed the ride and had a heck of a view. But as I said, it's a great day today. On behalf of the Leslie County Board of Education, the high school, and everybody in Hayden, welcome and thank you for coming. We are here to honor one of Leslie County's greatest sons, Tim Couch. Tim was a student athlete at Leslie County from 1992 to 96. And if you were here in those days, you know the level of excitement felt right here every Friday night. My Uncle Lynn, who was maybe the biggest Eagle fan ever, actually compared it to being on tour with Elvis. And it's fantastic to see that same level of excitement here today. I know that everyone here is proud of Tim and happy that you're here. And at this time, I would ask Miss Brooke Melton Campbell to sing My Old Kentucky Home.
The sun shines bright on my old Kentucky home. 'Tis summer, the people are gay. The corn tops ripe and the meadows in the bloom, while the birds make music all the day. The young folks roll on the little cabin floor, all merry, all happy and bright. By and by, hard times comes a-knocking at the door, then my old Kentucky home, good night. Weep no more, my lady, oh, weep no more today. We will sing one song for my old Kentucky home, for my old Kentucky home far away.
Thank you, Brooke. You can have a seat. We're fortunate to have some of Tim's former coaches with us today, and they would like to say some things. We'll start with former Leslie County head coach, Anthony Little.
Good morning, everyone. Not as tall as some of these guys. Looking around and talking with Coach Melton here too, he was hoping that maybe Tim or Greg still had some eligibility left with the rash of injuries we've had here. Looked like they both could still play. Folks, it's a tremendous honor to stand here before you today for this ceremony, unveiling a statue honoring Tim Couch. And it's only fitting that this coincides with Tim just being named to the College Football Hall of Fame. Tim Couch is a true icon in Kentucky and a shining example of what hard work, dedication, and a whole lot of talent can achieve. His contributions to our football program, the University of Kentucky, are immense. As a former coach, I had the privilege of witnessing firsthand his incredible athletic ability, his unwavering determination, and his leadership both on and off the field. But what truly set Tim apart was his character. He was a role model for his teammates, he was a leader in the community, and he was a positive influence on those around him. Today we honor him for not only his athletic accomplishments, but for the man he is. His induction into the College Football Hall of Fame is a testament to his greatness on the football field. And this statue will serve as a lasting reminder to his legacy. On behalf of the Leslie County School District, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to Tim, to Greg, to Janice, for your contributions to Leslie County football and this entire community. Thank you all. I truly wish that your father could be here to witness this event. I knew Albert well, and I know how very proud he was of both Tim and Greg, and he told me numerous times. I wish he could be here. Guys, the impact that Tim Couch had on the sport of football and this community will be felt for generations to come. Thank you all.
Thank you, Coach. Now please welcome former assistant and offensive coordinator, Fred Brashear.
I want to tell you how thankful and humbled I am to get to talk about not only Tim, but Greg. And as I was trying to think about what to say, my mind kept going back to Albert Wayne, dear friend. And there's a story I'm going to tell that nobody knows. Nobody knows, because it's just me and him. Greg, when you and Tim were in grade school, Albert would come in and say, "You watch them play? How them boys doing? You think they're doing good? What do you think they're going to do? How good can they be?" And it was very positive and everything like that. He came in, Tim, if I remember correct, you played on the Little League All-Star team one year for us, played third base. I think that's what it was. He asked me, he said, "Can we make it to the Little League World Series?" And I looked at him and I went, "That's a tall task, but we got to play them." But he always was just so proud of you all and everything that you did. And during your all's career, he'd come in on Friday, every Friday. "What's our chances? Were you in good shape?" And I never had the heart to tell him, and I really didn't believe it. We had a chance in every one of those games that you two gentlemen played in. Really did. And so today, I keep Albert in my mind for the wonderful friend he was and what he was he loved his family. Got a couple, I'm not going to talk about statistics or anything like that. Just going to tell you a couple of stories. One of them, and Anthony, I think you were the head coach. We were playing Lexington Dunbar at Bryan Station. Don't know if you remember that or not. We were playing them. And I told a bunch of friends, come and watch the game. We've got a quarterback that is going to be special. He is special. So we were warming up. The two guys throwing was Greg and Tim. And they stopped me and said, "Boy, I can see your quarterback." He said, "That number 2 can really play." I went, "Oh, no. Number 3's our quarterback. He's going to play on Saturdays. He's playing at the next level." So then they said, "Well, what about number 2? Without thinking, I became a forecaster. I said, "He's playing on Sunday." And every time I see that guy, he talks about that. He said, how'd you know that? I said, I didn't know it. I was just hoping it would occur. Next story I've got, Tim, before his junior year, had CBS Sports, came in and followed him for a weekend, and it was on the first weekend of August, which is the Osborne Brothers Festival also. So Tim came in and said hi, and I said, we're going to have a reception for Bobby and Sonny Osborne this afternoon. If you can make it, please come. Well, Tim came, and I introduced them, and they had a great conversation and everything. Then the question was asked, Tim, what about our music? Tim, being the great diplomat, said, I love your all's music, but I hate Rocky Top. Well, everybody kind of laughed and went on. So that night, the festival was going on, and I was backstage and came up to Bobby and thanked him, because we've got a plaque of the Osborne Brothers in the bank from their Bluegrass Hall of Fame. So I said, Bobby, I really appreciate that. He said, you know something? When Tim said he hated Rocky Top, that kind of hurt my feelings. And I said, well, if you play against Tennessee, you don't like Rocky Top. And he laughed and said, well, it's made me a lot of money. But if I am a Kentucky fan, and if I heard that as a Kentucky fan, it make me sick too. So, you know, that's a great story. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about, and we've talked about it to some people, for those that were not alive in 1994 and 1995, there was no greater place to be than Hyden, Kentucky, as we went and played. And the stands, the hillside, every place was taken 2 hours before the game. And if you would look at the cars coming in, it was endlessly, row after row of cars. So when we would come on to warm up on the field, it was very distinctive, the colors that we had in the stands. Across the way would be the visiting team. When we get to the bottom, it was total, not orange, but maroon. There also was some blue in there. And yeah, there was some that god-awful orange in there too. But, you know, it was such an excitement. Friday was set aside for the game. The bridge was decorated. Town was decorated. It was truly an event. And what we're doing in recognizing Tim for his contribution and for his recent election to the College Hall of Fame, which I think was way too delayed. But we're so proud of him and everything. And I'd like to thank the dream makers that made this occur, and that's Coach Eddie Melton, and also the Rice boys, who also do the Eagle's Nest, which is a great booster. Your dreams and your perseverance is a testimony to what we're going to unveil here shortly. So I thank you all for all you've done. My only other comment that I've got, and I'll bring out the old coach in me, and I'm looking at the football team, and I've already told Eddie this. You're playing Clay County Friday night. Guess what? We haven't beaten them recently. Don't you think it's time that we hang an L on them Friday night on this field? I think that's vital, and guys, you got to go out and do it. They're not going to give it to you. Go take it. Good luck. And Tim, again, congratulations.
Thanks, Dad. Now please welcome former head coach and current assistant coach, Mike Whitaker.
Being a former teacher and principal, I know that you all are anxious to get out of this beautiful weather and go back to class, so I'm not going to keep you real long. But I want to tell you that I'm very honored to be here to be a part of this dedication of this statue to one of our very own homegrown Leslie County football legends, Tim Couch. But everybody knows about all the records he broke, high school and college. Everyone knows of his pro career. Everyone knows of his induction in the Kentucky High School Football Hall of Fame, and most recent and well-deserved induction in the College Football Hall of Fame. So I'm not going to talk to you about those things. What I'm going to talk to you about is how a young man from Hyden, Kentucky, and Leslie County High School could achieve such success. So for you young people that are listening that want to be great, want to be successful, then pay attention, okay? Tim was a goal setter. He was a goal setter early on in his career. We had offensive goals, defensive goals, special teams goals. We had our kids write down their individual goals and place them in their lockers so they could see them before they went to practice and when they come back. Tim took it a step further. He taped his goals to the ceiling above his bed. So before he turned the light out at night to go to sleep, he could look at his goals and decide if he had done enough that day to achieve those goals. And when he got up in the morning, he could look at those goals and he could decide or determine what I have to do today to achieve those goals. So if you want to be successful, you want to be great, be a goal setter. Set your goals high like Tim. If you set your goals down here and you achieve those goals, you haven't done very much. But if you set them up here and you strive every day to reach them, but you fall a little bit short, you've achieved so much more than if you set your goals at a lower standard. So if you want to be successful, be a goal setter. The other thing Tim did was he paid attention and concentrated on doing the little things right. The little things make the big things happen. His dedication to doing the little things right rubbed off on his teammates to the point that people would say our offense looked flawless. Well, that was because everyone was doing their job and doing the little things right. His work ethic in football was second to none. He put the time in to learn everyone's assignment on every play. He put the time in to learn how to read defenses and manipulate coverage. He put the time in to learn how to change a play at the line of scrimmage to get us out of a bad play and put his teammates in the best possible position to succeed. And after 2 or 3 hour practices, he would go home and throw a football into trash cans or throw at targets or work on his footwork. So if you want to be successful, you have to put the work in. You have to put the extra work in if you want to be great. It's the work you do when no one else is looking that makes the difference between being good and being great. And Tim put that work in. The other thing Tim did, we always talked about the 3 Ds. You got to possess the 3 Ds. The first D being determination. You have to be determined to not let anything stand in your way of being successful. No excuses. Nothing can stand in your way. You have to be determined to overcome adversity. You have to be determined to get up after you've been knocked down. Tim had that determination. In the first game that he ever started as a freshman in 1992 versus Fleming County in the Appalachian Bowl over at Manchester, he threw 5 interceptions and we lost. He was devastated, thought he had let his teammates down. So what did he do to overcome that adversity? He didn't cry and pout. He worked his tail off to become the most accurate passer in high school football history. That's overcoming adversity. And getting back up when you've been knocked down. In 1993, in the district championship at Breathitt County, they knocked him out of the game, split his chin wide open. We were struggling to keep our lead because we were no threat to throw the ball. They just lined everybody up in the box and stopped the run. So seeing the need to be back out there, even though he wasn't at his best, they stitched him up on the sideline, put a bandage on his chin, and he went back out there. And we won our first district championship in a long time. And it was the first of 3 in a row. And that's determination. That's getting back up when you get knocked down. The second D is dedication. You have to have the dedication to put the work in to be successful. You have to have the dedication to put the work in when you would rather do something else. You have to have the dedication to work on your weaknesses until they're no longer a weakness. Tim certainly had that dedication. And the third D is desire. To be successful at anything, you have to have an intense, burning desire to succeed. You have to have the desire to have the ball in your hands when the game is on the line. Tim certainly had that desire. And I'll close with this. Tim was born with tremendous athleticism. There's no question. But over my years of playing and coaching, I couldn't tell you the number of people that were just as athletic or had more athleticism that never achieved success because they weren't willing to put the work in. I've often said this about Tim, and some people take it the wrong way, but it's meant as an ultimate compliment. Tim was blessed with tremendous athleticism, but he was also an overachiever. And what I mean by that is he worked so hard to be great that his success as a player exceeded his athletic ability. So if you want to be successful and you want to be great, then work to be an overachiever. Be a goal setter. Pay attention to the little things. Have a work ethic that no one else has. Pay attention and understand the 3 Ds. And I guarantee you'll be successful in whatever you choose to do. I'm very, very proud to have been a coach here when Tim was playing. I'm extremely proud of all the accomplishments he's had. And I am extremely proud to be a Leslie County. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. At this time, please welcome Tim's former teammate and current Eagle head coach, Eddie Melton.
Thank you. I feel like Fred and Anthony here as far as height in the mic. But I first want to say it's an honor to be a part of the ceremony. I was blessed to be a part of the excitement, the games, on a Friday night here in the Tim Couch era. But one of the things I will say that I remember most is about the brotherhood that we had as a team, that Tim shared with his teammates. We all had one goal, that was to succeed, that was to win. I remember on Friday nights, after we played here at home, numerous times we go up Rock House, sitting in the living room with Tim's families and some other players, just getting there so we could watch Sports Overtime, the replay in 1994. It's amazing it's been that long. But one of the best things, though, other than that, was we wake up Saturday morning and Janice fixes breakfast. So, things like that is what I remember. What a humble friend and teammate, that Tim was. So I was blessed to be a part of that, and I'm blessed to stand up here today, and I'm going to read a few of his accomplishments right now. It says, Mr. Tim Couch attended Leslie County High School from 1992 to 1996, where he became one of the most prolific quarterbacks in high school football history. He set numerous school, state, and national passing records. He left an incredible mark on the sport. Tim continued his football journey at the University of Kentucky, where he's still regarded as one of the greatest players of all time. In 1999, Tim was selected first overall by the Cleveland Browns in the NFL draft. This statue is dedicated to the children of Leslie County and all of Eastern Kentucky. Serves as an inspiration to always dream big and work hard. Now, for some of Tim's accomplishments, 4 high school national passing records. Mr. Football, 1995. Gatorade National High School Player of the Year, 1995. ESPN Top 10 High School Athletes of All Time. NFHS National High School Hall of Fame Class of 2021. 7 NCAA passing records. 14 SEC passing records. 26 University of Kentucky school records. 1998 Consensus College All-American. 1998 SEC Player of the Year. 1998 Heisman finalist. College Football Hall of Fame, class of 2024. 1999, number 1 NFL draft pick. 1999 NFL All-Rookie Team. As you can see, the accomplishments, all things are possible if you work and set your goals, like coaches have said before, and that's what Tim did. He made us proud then, he continues to make us proud, and it's an honor to be here, Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. At this time, please direct your attention to the video board as we look back at the fantastic career of Mr. Tim Couch.
Hello, everyone. My name is Armando Berry, and I am joined by Leslie County Athletics Director Mark Collett. Mr. Collett, obviously, I bet a lot of hours went into what's going on at Leslie County High School.
Yeah, and it's a big day for us here. It's a big day for our community. It's a big day for anyone that's been involved in Tim's career and Tim's raising here in Hyden, Kentucky. And it's a vision that some of our folks in Leslie County has had. Some of our community members, some alumni, and former football players got together and really wanted to make this day be special for Tim and our community.
Tim Couch, such a storied name throughout these mountains and the state of Kentucky in the game of football. Where were you during the time that Tim Couch ascended in the high school ranks in Hyden?
I had a front row seat. I didn't play football with Tim, but played basketball with him, which he was a really special player in that as well. But, this was before the social media time. If you wanted to experience these events, you had to be there. And a lot of folks were there. These football games were like movie scenes that you would see. If you didn't get there by 5 o'clock, you didn't have a seat for a 7:30 kickoff. So it was a very unique and a very exciting time. And I think, it brought in national attention to our small community, our city of Hyden and our school, and such a positive thing for kids like myself at the time, younger, looking up to Tim to see what the potential you could have.
With all the national attention that it did bring to Leslie County, and him playing on the field. What was Tim like off the field, off the court as a person, and what was it like being an Eagle during that time?
You know, he was humble. You know, it was such a spotlight for someone from our small community, but he handled all that well. He interacted with young players like myself, both on the basketball court and on the football field, and was a positive role model for us.
To see all that Tim has accomplished, I mean, it's certainly a long list, claiming national high school records. 1995, Mr. Kentucky football. He was a first-team All-American at UK. He was drafted #1 overall by the Cleveland Browns in 1999. What does his legacy mean to mountain kids in Leslie County and throughout the area?
You know, as we were thinking about this statue, you know, obviously it is to commemorate these accomplishments like you spoke about for Tim's whole entire career. But the second part of that is to inspire youth, not only in our small community in Hyden, Kentucky, but around here in the mountains, that you can dream big. You know, when you're a little kid and you're throwing football in the yard or you're shooting basketball, your dream is to be a professional player. And from a city of 350 people, that happened. So it's kind of an inspiration piece for the youth of our mountains, saying that you can dream big and stick to those dreams because they can happen.
How much does this statue and what all this community has put into it mean to them and to Leslie County?
You know, like I said earlier, it was local folks that came together on this, alumni, former players, private donors that put the funds in to make this happen. And it's a sense of pride for us. It's a long time coming for Tim, you know, such a successful career. And, you know, in those early 90 moments, he really brought a lot of special times to myself and the community as a whole. So it's something we're looking forward to give back to Tim as well as to inspire our community.
Well, Mr. Collett, thank you so much for taking the time. We now return back to the Tim Couch statue dedication.
Guys, if that don't get you ready to play Friday night, I don't know what will. I might find some pads myself. So at this time, please welcome two guys that are doing more to bring attention to Leslie County athletics than anyone I've seen in a long time, and they're the driving force behind this project today. Mr. Allen and Jerry Rice, hosts of the Eagles Nest.
Good morning, everybody. I had a million things I wanted to say today, but Tim had an incredible idea. We've been after him for a while to do an interview with us for the Eagles Nest. You got any fans in here for the Eagles Nest? All right. So this was Tim's idea. So he's going to get interviewed by Jerry Rice, not NFL legend Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice from Hell for Certain. So we got a few questions, and he wanted to involve the kids today. So we've got some kids going to ask some questions. So Tim, are you ready? All right.
Sit here.
All right, Tim, we finally got you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome home, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you did for this. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you for all that you did for us and being so kind to me and Jerry here. Let's get this thing started. Let's go all the way back, man. So I was 3 years behind you. I had a front row to this whole show. Jerry and I and a few people in our peer group, we were first ever fans. So take us back to the Hyden Raider football days.
You're going way back.
Yeah, I'm going all the way back. Now, you was know more as a basketball player back then, but let's talk about that.
You know, passion for sports for me started at an early age, like you said. Being in Hayden Elementary, and my brother was 4 years older than me, so I always looked up to him and was competing with Landry and his older friends, and just trying to, you know, just playing basketball with those guys, playing football, whatever it was. I was so competitive. I wanted to be as good as those guys so bad that they were a big motivation for me as a young kid. But you know, I just remember having so much fun with my friends, and had some really good coaching there, and you know, it was a great start to my athletic career at Hayden.
Awesome. I'm going to let Jerry ask you a few questions.
Well, first of all, Tim, it's an honor to be sitting next to you. It's kind of a surreal moment, a little bit nervous, to be honest. But when did you realize that football was going to be your calling growing up?
You know, it took a while because, you know, like Alan said, I consider myself a basketball player, you know, and, you know, growing up in the state of Kentucky, you know, I think every young kid dreams about going to the University of Kentucky and playing basketball, and that's what I wanted to do as well. My biggest motivation for playing football was my brother, and, you know, he was a quarterback ahead of me, and I was his backup on the varsity when I was in 7th and 8th grade, so I got a front row seat to watch him and you know, watch how he worked and watch the dedication that he put into the game. And he certainly inspired me to want to be a quarterback as well. So, you know, really early on in my high school career, that, you know, I thought football was just kind of something I was going to do on the side, and I was going to really be a basketball player. But about after my sophomore year, I figured out that you know, football was going to be my ticket. And, you know, in basketball, I was averaging 37 points a game, so I was doing okay over there as well. But you know, football became my passion probably around my sophomore, junior year of high school. Was fortunate enough, you know, some of my coaches spoke here tonight, Coach Little and Coach Brashear. They had such an impact on me early on in my career, and obviously Mike Whitaker. You know, I truly don't think that I would have become the player that I became if it were not for Mike Whitaker. And, you know, everyone knows Mike was a great football player here at Leslie County himself. He was an unbelievable player in college at Eastern Kentucky, where he played for one of the winningest coaches of all time, and Coach Kidd. So when Mike came back home to coach me, I can't tell you how fortunate I was to have a guy who had lived what I wanted to do, be a college quarterback. And he came back here and he taught me like a college quarterback when I was a young kid. So he was teaching me to read coverages and go through progressions and change plays and do all that. And I'm so thankful for Mike and everything that he did for my career. And he made a huge, huge impact on me. So, Mike, I really appreciate you. Thank you.
You were speaking about being a backup for your brother in the 7th grade. Walk us through what that's like, coming out as a 7th grader and practicing, knowing your brother is just a superstar,
Right.
and you're trying to follow that.
Yeah, you know, it was a lot of pressure because, you know, like you said, I was in 7th grade and I would come up here and practice with the varsity team, and, you know, but I loved the challenge. You know, like I said early, you know, when I was a young kid, I was always competing with my brother and his friends, so I was used to competing with older kids. You know, I got a chance to be the starting quarterback on the JV when I was in 7th and 8th grade, and I backed up my brother on the varsity. And, you know, like I said, just getting a front row seat I had such a great role model in Greg, and the example he set for me every day. As a young kid, it had a big impact on me because I was like, oh, this is how you have to work to be a starting quarterback on the varsity. So, you know, I watched his leadership skills and, you know, how he would, you know, just how he would carry himself. You know, as a younger brother, I was watching every move he made. So he set a great example for me, and, you know, it was great for me to have that experience as a young 7th and 8th grade kid to be a part of you know, the varsity and be able to dress and go to the games and you know, be around the team and watch how the guys worked and prepared to get ready to play every Friday night. So it had a big impact on me.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Well, Tim, thanks for answering that question, because that was the next question I was going to ask you. What impact your brother had on you? Listening to Mike and Coach Little, you know, we've been around Mike here since he's came back as offensive coordinator now. Who ran the toughest practices, him or Coach Little?
Ooh, no, that's a tough question. Coach Little ran some tough practices. Now, I remember those two-a-days where we'd be running up the hill here in full pads with our helmets on. I don't know if we could have got away with that stuff these days, Coach, that we were doing back then. But they were both very tough practices. And, you know, I loved, you know, growing up here in Hyden and Leslie County and being a part of these sports programs here. Like I said, we had so many great coaches, you know, and coaches have the ability to impact young kids' lives, not only as athletes, but as young men as well. And I was so fortunate to be surrounded by some good coaches and some good men that taught me the right way to not only go about approaching the game and be an athlete, but how to treat people correctly as well, and you know, be a good person in the community. And just so thankful for all those coaches that I had in my life at an early age.
Yeah. Well, we all know how Mike is. He's a hard guy, and he coaches hard, and that's evident in your success.
Well, let me just tell Landry here, I know if you're ever wondering if Coach Whitaker yelled at me like he does you, just know that he did. I promise.
Hey, I don't think he's changed, though.
He hasn't changed a bit.
He may have got a little bit louder, honestly.
Just the vocabulary. All right. So Tim, you have some very impressive teammates here at Leslie County High School, and we shared a mutual friend in Scott Brock.
Yeah.
And everybody knows what he meant to us. There's a story, and we just recently got to tell it here on the Eagle's Nest, Paul Melton.
Right.
So Paul Melton, do you ever sit and think of the magnitude of what you guys were able to accomplish while you were here, and then go on to have the careers that you got? You know, Paul being a retired Navy SEAL.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing, you know, coming from this small town that, you know, we had so many people at that time that went on and had so much success. And I think we were just a very driven bunch. You know, we were all pushing each other to be better, and we were all so competitive that, you know, it drove each other to have a lot of success. And, you know, you mentioned Scott, and I think everyone remembers, you know, I'm sure the young kids don't, they weren't born then, but, you know, my best friend, Scott Brock, was in a car accident when I was in college with a couple of my UK teammates, and you know, we were as close as friends can get, and, you know, I miss him every day. And then my friend Paul Melton, who you mentioned, went on to be SEAL Team 6 member, recently retired, and, you know, just the elite of the elite, one of the greatest warriors that's ever lived. And, you know, I'm just so proud of all my teammates that I played with, Coach Ed, Dan Baker, Rick Hensley, all the guys that I had around me. And, you know, it was they made, you know, football is the ultimate team sport. I don't accomplish anything without great coaches and great teammates, you know. So, you know, I'm so proud of this statue. And, you know, when I look at that statue, it reminds me of what we accomplished as a team, not what I accomplished as an individual. And just let me say thank you to all the great Leslie County fans. You know, when I was here, you guys were so supportive of our football team, and this stadium will be completely packed every Friday night. And you guys were a huge motivating factor for us and all of our success. And, you know, we accomplished things that have never been done before in the history of high school football, you know, right here on this field. So, you know, I'm just so thankful for the teammates that I had that allowed me to go out and play at a high level. And, you know, it was a great run that we had. It's so exciting to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's great.
Tim, what advice would you, as you look into the crowd, and not only to football players, but kids in general, what advice would you have or give them to be able to reach the dreams and their goals like you have and be that successful?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I think also, you know, when I look at that, when I see the statue, and it also, I hope that young kids will look at that and maybe get some inspiration to say, you know, you don't have to, you know, be an athlete. You can be whatever you want to be in life, but you have to approach it a certain way. You know, if you want to be great at something, and Coach Whitaker hit a lot of great points on that, you have to do the extra work. You know, just coming out here and going through practice for a couple hours is great. You can work as hard as you possibly can for a couple hours, but if that's all you're doing to improve and be great, you're never going to be great if that's all you're putting in. You have to put in time away from this game. You have to study. You have to work on your mechanics. You have to do the little things when no one else is looking, and that's in every aspect of life. You know, no matter what business you're in, whatever degree you're going to get in college, you have to do the little things right, and you have to be dedicated. So I hope this statue reminds the young kids of Hyden and Leslie County and all of Eastern Kentucky that it doesn't matter what you want to do in life. You can accomplish it if you have the right mindset. You know, success is 90% your mind. You know, Coach Whitaker said, you know, there's guys that were just as talented as me that didn't succeed. And my mindset was I was going to squeeze every ounce of talent I had possible out of my body. I was going to leave no stone unturned. I was going to put in every ounce of work that it took. And at the end of the day, if I made it, I made it. If I didn't, I said I put everything I had into it, and I would have no regrets. So I think, if everyone, the young kids would approach that and whatever they want to do in life, I think that would be a great way to, a great mindset to get into.
One quick thing, that was when mostly Alan had this idea, but when we come up with this for the statue, that's the inspirational thing about this for each kid when they come down and look at that and say, I can be that, or, I can do whatever I set my mind to. And that's a perfect message for you to give these kids here today.
Thank you.
Oh, great stuff, man. Got one last thing for you, Tim. Famous people in your contacts list. You got Peyton Manning in there?
I do.
All right.
Yes. We're not going to call him, are we?
Could you ask him a question for us?
Sure.
Does he know that the Osmond brothers done Rocky Top?
He does, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Remind him they sing it better. Can you do that for me, Jerry?
I will. I'll send him a text and tell him.
All right, good deal. All right, so we're going to turn it over to some of these football boys. Who's first? Raise your hand. Sparky. Come on up here, man. You ain't getting off that easy.
I'm Jeremiah Sparks. I'm a freshman here at Leslie County High School, and I was just wanting to know what your pregame ritual was.
Pre-game ritual, that's a good one. I think it's, for me, I was kind of one of those guys that would kind of sit in the locker room quietly and think about what I had to do. There's always different types of personalities in the locker room. You got guys that are so fired up, they're ready to sprint down the hill and get out here. And I was one of the more, I guess I had a more laid back approach to it because, a lot of playing quarterback is cerebral, and you have to think about the game and process what you're trying to do and try to go out and execute a game plan. So I was more, just kind of going over last minute thoughts. If they do this, what am I going to do? And, just trying to get really focused in on the game, try to imagine certain plays and how I'd react to that, whatever the defense was showing. So just really just sitting around, getting my mind right, maybe listen to music or something. Yeah.
Good job, man.
Good job.
Good job. Come on up, Braden Holland. This is our start middle linebacker, Tim.
Right.
Hello, my name is Braden Holland. I'm a sophomore here at Leslie County, and I was wondering how you dealt with all your college offers and what led you to choose UK.
Yeah, that's a great question. I had a lot of opportunity to go play at any school, and I was looking at Florida and Tennessee, Ohio State, Kentucky, and I think Auburn were my final choices. And at the end of the day, I originally committed to Tennessee. And I don't know if I'm supposed to tell anybody that, but I think at the end of the day, when I weighed all my options, that Kentucky was just was a better fit for me because I'm just being from this state and being growing up dreaming of playing for the Kentucky Wildcats and just finally having that opportunity to go there was a lifelong dream for me. And it didn't work out so great my freshman year. I had a lot of adversity in that first year, but fortunately for me, they changed coaches and Hal Mumme and Mike Leach came in and they installed the air raid offense, which was very similar to what we were doing here with Coach Whitaker. So I felt very comfortable with that, and then that's when my career took off and was able to do some good things. So, but the college process comes down to not only how you feel, but weighing information from people you trust, your inner circle, your family. My brother played a big role in it because he had just went through the process 4 years before me. So he knew kind of how to deal with recruiters and talking on the phone with coaches all the time and kind of weighing the options about which school to pick. So he was tremendous help in that.
We know you were
Thanks,
there.
man. Appreciate you. No, I did not. No.
All right, Mr. Ryland Simpson.
Well, I'm Ryland Simpson. I'm a junior at CHS. I'm nervous. But my question for you is, what are some things that help improve you during the off season and the season itself?
That's a great question, too. I think for me, the off season I always took as an opportunity to work on my weaknesses. I think, every player has weaknesses. It doesn't matter how great of a player you are. There's no perfect player. So I would always go to work on my weaknesses. What am I not doing well? And, though you work on those weaknesses and your game can really go to another level when you come back the next year. And I've always been, really big into, fitness and keeping my body in shape to go out and play and perform at a certain level. Just really focusing on, just getting, like I said, getting your body right and focusing on weaknesses and things that maybe you struggled with, the season before and really work on those. And, I think that's how you become a better player over time, is just consistently working on weaknesses. Yep. Thanks, man. Nice to meet you.
Hey, can you give this guy a little advice on personal fouls?
On personal fouls?
Yeah.
Has he racked up a few this year?
Over his career? Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Tanner Estep. I'm a 5-year senior. And I just wanted to ask, when did you realize that, you were gifted, that, this is what you was going to do?
I think I realized it at a pretty early age, but as I kind of was getting into high school and things, I didn't realize, nationally how I was going to be able to compete with kids on a national level. So until probably my junior year of high school, I started going to a lot of camps. And, I went to Tennessee's football camp and Auburn's camp. And, I started winning MVP of these camps and things from kids all around the country and some of the other top players in the country. And I was thinking, if I can come here and compete with these guys, I can compete with anyone. So, that gave me a lot of confidence, just going to see other guys from around the country and what level they were playing at and what they were doing. So just, probably around that junior year of high school, I would say, is when I realized I had a good shot to do something special. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
All right, look at this guy. I think you threw a few
touchdown passes his dad, that's for sure.
Yeah. He's throwing them now.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
My name's Landry Collett, and I was wanting to ask you, what is your favorite Leslie County High School football memory?
I think the first one that comes to mind would be the night we broke the national passing record for many reasons, but it was on this field. It was home in front of these great fans. We were playing Belfry in the regional championship. And to break those records here at home was special. Paul Melton, who we talked about earlier, caught the pass to break the record. And then we go on to win the game and beat Belfry and win the regional championship. So that moment was really special for me. Just so many great moments. It's hard to recall all of them. And, we won. We were fortunate to win a lot of games. And I had the opportunity to play with a lot of great teammates. But, that one probably stands out in my mind as my most favorite moment. Thanks, Landry. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, Tim. I think that's just about going to do it for what we're going to do. You ready to go take a look at this thing?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Joel.
So at this time, we need everybody behind the podium and all the senior football players, please make your way over to the statue. For the rest of us, they've got a camera over there, so we'll be able to see it on the big screen.
Thank God for black.
While they're making their way over, there's some folks that we'd like to thank. Sculptor Patrick Duncan White, Carmichael Masonry and Roger Smith, of course, the Eagle's Nest, Leslie County High School Administration, Principal Merlene Lewis, and Assistant Principal Athletic Director Mark Collett, One Stop Market, Flowers on Main, Hyde and Sleek, Robin and Philip Lewis, D Spur Photography, Dalton Spurlock, Renee and Estel Neese at Big Blue Smokehouse, Adrenaline King Blake Kemper, the Law Office of Couch and Fugit, all the Leslie County football boosters, specifically Kathy and John Jr. Bolin, Mary Clark, and all the private donors who made today possible. Let's give all those folks a big hand. While we're waiting, I'll tell you all a story. One of my favorite football memories, playing with Tim, like I said, I didn't play much, but I was on the team. We were over at Knott County, and back then the skill players would go out and warm up, and us linemen would wait back around the locker room. Well, me and one of the guys were back in just throwing a ball around, and this little kid from Knott County came up and said, "Can I have your autograph?" And I said, "Son, why do you want my autograph?" And he said, "Well, I just want your autograph. You know, I'm kind of tall." So I got a little football and signed it, and he ran away, and he screamed, "I got Tim Couch's autograph." So there's some little kid in Knott County, I guess he's probably 30 now, who has a fake Tim Couch autograph. So that's my claim to fame. Looks like they're about ready. At this time, we would like to present Tim Couch with a statue in his honor.
Hey, come on up here, Tim. Hey, before we unveil this, I want to thank Mr. Patrick White, man. You have done an incredible job. You have worked with us, and couldn't have done it without you, man.
Well, thank you very
So
much.
I think it would only be fitting if you and Tim cut this ribbon together.
Right, sure. That sounds
So you guys cut the ribbon, and we're going to have our high school seniors coming on unveil it so we can step back and look at it.
All right.
Here you go, guys.
You take it. All right. Yep. This is it. Tired? Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
All right.
All right. You just a minute here to get with the family.
All right, man. You ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Only a little bit.
Guys, be easy with it. Watch out for the flags. Oh, yeah.
Man, it looks great. Thank you so much. That's great. Thank you.
All right, I think that's going to be a wrap here. One thing I wanted to point out to you here, we paid a little bit of a special tribute to those teammates we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
So, just a little something for those guys.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. Looks great.
All right, folks. Thanks, everyone, for attending this wonderful event. Let's give everybody one more big round of applause. And let's just say it's a great day to be an Eagle. Thank you.
Okay, students, hold on just a second. We're going to let the grade school football teams go ahead, make your way out. High school, just hang on 1 second. High school, you will go to fourth period, first lunch. Go ahead and go on to first lunch at this time.